friends, this is Stephanie of Stephanie's Yarn Escape. Thank you for joining me today for episode number 70. This is a crochet podcast where I take you on my yarny adventures in hopes that you find some sort of inspiration. So grab your favorite beverage, prop those feet up because you deserve to, and enjoy to share. So today's Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. I hope you have a fabulous day. Take the day to relax, enjoy the day. It's actually a beautiful day here. It's supposed to be. Actually, it's supposed to be nice all week. We just got done with 3 solid days of nothing but rain. All day rain. So it's kind of nice to see the sun out today. So lots to share with you guys today. I am so excited about a couple of these things. And I can't wait to share it. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. The first thing I'm going to share with you guys is my plaid blanket that I have been working on. You guys seen this quite a few times now. Still going. So here it is so far. Now, I did make some changes. So I had, the last time I showed you guys, 2 extra rows. So I had another set of, oh my goodness, this is not easy. I had another section of this color sequence here and this color out to this side. And when I was holding it up and showing you guys the last time, I'm like, I think this might be a little too wide. So I took them out and I'm happy with how big it is. I kind of go back and forth. So I'm just going to leave it as is for now. And I'm just going to build it up and see what it looks like. And if I can, or if I want to, I can add those 2 extra, excuse me, color blocks on the side, which is what I love about this pattern. You can make it as wide as you want, whenever you want. So if I'm not happy with how wide it is versus how long it is, I can alter it and make it wider. So yes, I'm very happy with this. This color selection was inspired by the owl that I did for one of my Attacking the Amigurumi months. This is the corner to corner join as you go, which can be found on Fiber Spider's channel. And I picked the colors to make a plaid effect, which I'm really enjoying. So yeah. I was going to say something else and I completely forget. Yes, this is one of my easy peasy ones. And it goes by ever so easily. I love it, love it, love it, love it. And the yarn I'm using for this is Big Twist Value in white, a light rose, and wine, which I love this red color. It's gorgeous. So those are the colors I'm using. It is a 4 medium, 100% acrylic, and it's 380 yards. So I was also running into the problem of running out of the pink yarn, because that pink one I just showed you guys is the last one that I have. And I have one more red one. And the pink one that I have currently going is, I could probably get 1 more square out of. So I did end up purchasing more yarn, which you'll see in a later video this week. For that, because I got quite a bit of yarn on my little shopping trip. I had a list. I went with the list. I'm just going to say that. I got a little bit of extra out of the list, but I went with the list. What else am I working on? Well, I am working on the Ardith baby blanket. It's a mandala blanket. One of my Knit Night girls shared this pattern with me, and I was like, I must do this, and I must start it now. So that's what I did. And I'm going to, and it can be found on Ravelry, I'm going to attempt to enter this into my local fair, which is at the end of August. So And I did some math to see how many rows I had to do per week to stay on track to have it done, with 2 extra weeks to spare just in case, and to block it if I need to block it. I love blocking, even if it's perfectly straight and square. I like to block it because it just kind of perfects it a little bit more. I don't know why, but that's what I do. So I did make some progress on it. And here it is so far. I am loving this colorway. So I put it, here's my stitch marker. So I put quite a few rows on since I shared this with you guys last. And I have these ends. Now I do weave in ends as I go, but I only go so far because if I weave in too many ends and I have to take it out because of a mess up, then I don't want to have to try and get out that end. But some of the mess, I did mess one up, but I couldn't fix it on the next round. So I literally had to take it out. But some patterns you can do that. This one, I guess it depends what row you're doing. If you could do that. But when I screwed it up that one time, it was very obvious. And if I'm entering it into the fair, I don't want no mistakes to happen, because when I enter into the fair, I've done it one other time and I got second place. You don't get like a lot of money or anything. You get a couple dollars depending what place you're in. But I want the big purple ribbon. The big purple ribbon is the best in show. So I'm trying to get that. So I will enter. It must be perfect on my standards. So I'm going to attempt this as the fair. Loving this color selection. I made another blanket out of this colorway before too, and it was just a chevron, and it was gorgeous. So the yarn I'm using is this Lion Brand Heartland in the colorway Denali. This is a discontinued color, and that stinks because this is such a pretty pink. 100% acrylic, 4 medium, 251 yards. I have quite a few skeins, so I should be able to finish up this blanket. And then I'm also using, in the Lion Brand Heartland, Grand Canyon. This is a wimpy skein. I don't have many of these left, but you can still purchase it. So, and then I'm using Karen Simply Soft White. So I will have enough to finish up the blanket. I'm currently on row 18 of 92. So we're getting there. I'm hoping to be closer to 20 by, well, it'd be, no, I'm on row 18. Numbers, Sunday, no. So hopefully I'll be closer to row 30 by the time you guys see it next. So my goal is to be at least by row 25 this week. So, and of course, the bigger you get, the longer it takes for each row. So I also incorporated that too. But I'm loving it. Love, 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 love. Okay. What else? Well, I currently have the It's Cake Time make-along going on over on my Facebook page. I created that challenge because I have a lot of cake yarn. Now, I voiced my opinion about cake yarn and variegated yarn in the past. Excuse me. I love the colors. When you look at it, it's so pretty, and I've, of course, bought it because it's pretty, and that's what happens a lot of times when I buy yarn. It's pretty, and I just don't know what to do with it because my OCD kicks in a little bit with the color change. I hate it. It drives me nuts. But it works so well with certain patterns. You gotta find the right patterns. And then some other people, it doesn't bother them where the color changes at. More power to you. I have a hard time doing that. And then I end up not wanting to make the blanket or whatever the project is. And then it gets put to the wayside. And so, my challenge that I wanted to do for myself is find a pattern that will work well with some of the cake yarn. I wanted to use up some of the cake yarn in my stash. A little side note though, I did end up ordering more cake yarn this weekend. more on that later. It's a whole thing that turned into something else, and yes, it's fine. Everything's fine. Anyways, so I had this cake that my local Yarny friend had gifted me a couple years ago for Christmas. Some of this latte cake. Very soft, very pretty. It is a 5 bulky, 530 yards, 58% acrylic, 42% nylon. In the colorway Kissy Kissy. So she gifted me 5 cakes of this for Christmas one year. And usually when I'm gifted yarn, I use it for things for myself. I have a separate spot I keep in my stash for the gifted yarn. So I wanted to make something for myself. And we had remodeled our bedroom last year. It all started off by purchasing a bigger bed, and it escalated from there. But anyways, I still have yet to finish up some of the decorating and stuff like that. And I wanted to, maybe it was 2 years ago. I don't remember. But anyways, I want to put a little chair, and I found a crate at Hobby Lobby that would look cute next to the chair with a blanket draped, like put in it and like draped off the side, all cute and stuff, you know. So I'm like, this blanket would look pretty in that crate. So I had initially found a pattern that I wanted to try it in. And it was actually made with cake yarn. And it was very pretty, and I really liked it. So I wanted to try it with this. 3 attempts later, it just wasn't happening. I just wasn't feeling it. I still want to try that pattern with another cake yarn once I'm done with this. So just like, you know, at this point I've played with the yarn quite a few times, and I'm like, you know, just do something simple because it's such a pretty yarn, and it's soft and very cozy. Like, let the yarn do the work. You do the easy part, let the yarn do the work. So that's what I'm doing. So I am doing a very simple, easy peasy V-stitch pattern. It is very wide. Because I like large blankets when I'm, you know, watching a movie with my daughter. We like to cuddle under a blanket, or even when I'm sick, I get all nuzzled up in a blanket, or cold, and I just like to like lose myself in a blanket. So that's why I like my blankets particularly large. So I can't even get it in the screen. It's longer than my arm span, not by much, by a little bit. So let me fold it in half so you guys can get a look at it. So here's half of it, and it is very pretty. So the lighting that I currently have is really bringing out the colors. You can really see them, but when I'm working on it and stuff, it's more subtle. So it really brings out the colors under this lighting. I'm glad I went with this. It's more simple. I plan on using pretty much all 5 cakes. If I don't, it would be 4. Because based off how wide I have it, you know, and how long, but it's for our house, so it doesn't matter if it looks wonky, right? But I love it. I'm glad I decided to go with this. I'm almost 1 whole skein in. This little tiny thing here is all I have left, and it's probably, you know, 1.5 rows. Yes, I'm enjoying it. I still want to do that other pattern with the cake yarn. I just have a lot going on. So the Make Along Challenge is happening over on my Facebook. You have till the end of June. You can make anything with cake yarn, whatever your heart desires. You can use 1 cake, you can use 2 cakes, you can use 10 cakes. I don't care. You can make, as long as you can buy it in cake form. So if you take a solid skein of yarn like this and wind it into a cake, that does not count. It has to be bought as a cake. It could be a solid. It doesn't have to be striped, just as long as it's in cake form. Now, say you have, excuse me, 2 cakes of yarn, and you want to make this big blanket, but you know the 2 cakes of yarn aren't going to make it through. and you want to throw a solid in between the two cakes, you can do that as well too. You could stripe it with a solid. It doesn't have to be a solid cake. It could be a regular skein of yarn that you're mixing with a cake. As long as the cake is involved, it doesn't matter. And like I said, this challenge is to use up some of the cake yarn, although I purchased more, in my stash because I love the looks of it. I love the colors that they put together. I just am OCD about color placement sometimes. And like I said, you know, once you find the right patterns, you don't even notice. It's me, you know, it's not the yarn, it's me, because I will work on a project and I'll see, you know, things changing, and I'm like, oh man, I just won't stop looking at it. And I literally will probably stop working on it because I'm not finding joy, because it's driving me insane. So I'm loving everyone's projects so far. You have plenty of time to work on them. Also over on Chrissy's channel, she's doing a cake make along too. So you can go ahead and check that out as well too. So for the giveaway, you can win 2 cakes of Sweet Roll by Premier and one of my stitch markers. This is 100% acrylic for medium, 245 yards in the colorway Cheesecake Pop. And this is actually the cake yarns the cake colorway that Christy's using over on her lives for the pattern that she's doing for her make along as well too. So, excuse me, which is funny. So be sure to check that out. You have a chance to win those 2 cakes. What else have I worked on? Well, I have a new project that I'm super duper excited about. And it's living in this bag here that Lori Gray made me. Inside, I have a very special project. This is a very special bag for me, so it deserved a very special project. I have a daughter who is 7 years old, and she was sick a few weeks ago, and her and I ended up staying home. It was actually the Monday after Easter. Her and I ended up staying home. I stayed home from work. She stayed home from, well, she didn't have school, but she had daycare, but she ended up staying home. And we rested all day and watched movies. And she had requested me, amongst her day, to make her a very specific stuffed animal. And I was like, absolutely. So I started doing some research for what she wanted, and I would find multiple things that I liked about certain patterns that I found. I didn't care if I had to pay for it. I didn't care, you know, if I had to go buy the yarn for it. It didn't matter. It was a request from my daughter, and I was going to make what she wanted, what she visioned, happen for her. So I had, and I know I can purchase patterns and adjust them to the colors I want, the size I want. But I was looking, and I was sharing it with her too. She was going to be part of every decision along this whole thing. And she was like, well, I like the cheeks on this one, but I like the size of this one. And I told her just ignore the colors. She's like, I like, you know, this about this, but I like this about that. And I'm like, okay, I'm feeling the same thing. And she said to me, well, why don't you just go ahead and make it yourself from what I want? I was like, oh, yes. So I started a new design. All that to tell you that I started a new design. With her specifications, she picked out the yarn and everything. So she requested a red panda. And like I said, I was finding all these different patterns for red pandas. I like the size of the one with the cheeks, because there's white on the cheeks. but it was using super bulky 6, and my hands aren't a fan of it, but I couldn't get the colors. I would have sucked it up with the hand paint to make it for her, but I couldn't get the colors that she wanted. So okay, so then I was like contemplating holding double together, adjusting the pattern to fit the size, but it just, you know, it just wasn't working out. I would have to buy 3 different patterns to put them all together and to make it work. And I could just design my own, right? So, like I said, she even picked out the yarn. And I've got all sorts of things going on here, so bear with me. So this is the yarn. This is one of them. Now, I wanted to see what this would look like with all this lighting, and it's looking very dark red, which is what we're going for. This is, so when I went to the yarn store this weekend, this is one of the things I bought because I wanted the right shade of red for what I was going for. In the one light, it looked purple. It may look purple to you guys, but it's in this bright light, it's looking like very dark red. And I bought like 3 different, no. I presented her with 3 different dark reds. And this is one of the ones I bought last weekend. This is Craft Smart Value yarn. It's a 4 medium, 100% acrylic in the colorway wine. And there's 354 yards. And then I'm using this here, and it doesn't have a label on it because I'm actually working. I need a little bit from the outside because I have it. You'll see why here in a minute. This is I Love This Yarn, and it's the colorway Terracotta. It's a 4 medium, 100% acrylic, 355 yards. So these 2 colors together are going to make the animal that she wants, this red panda. So, and if you guys even Google red pandas, they're mostly orange and black and some white. So anyways, I got it started. I started it Friday night, this past Friday night. And I've got quite a ways. And I worked on it Saturday. Saturday night is usually my gnome night, but I was so excited about this that I put my gnome night on hold. So there will be no knit machine shenanigans this week. Just a heads up on that because I haven't worked on any gnomes things since I was with you guys last. I was super excited about this project. So here is the body, and it is a very nice size. So I started here because she told me she wanted it a really good size. So this is where I started. And so the bottom portion is that dark red color and then the orange. So it's a very good size. It's like the size of my head. I figured once I got the body done to get the overall size, all the parts will come together. The head was going to be my next hard part, because the head is more like oblong, like more oblong like that. So I needed it to match the body. And this looks like a hot mess, and it is, but it's working. I know what's happening. Here is the head so far. So I'm also writing the pattern down as I go. I'm hoping to release this. So I've got the size I want, and it's going to go on there. And there is color work, which I recently learned with the owl that I did earlier this year with the color work in the face. So it is a pain in the bum to do color work when you're going into the round, because here's my starting point here. So I crochet until I get to the white, switch to the white, and then go back to the orange for in between. And then that's where I'm working from the outside of the skein, because I just need a little bit through the center of these white cheeks. And then I have another little, I just have little balls that I took from white. I think it's I Love This Yarn white as well too. And then you go back to this orange, but do you want to attach another skein? Not really, because you're going to come back around, and your last skein, you're going to come back around, and your last skein is ending right here with this white. So what I do, and this I learned from the owl that I did, is you cut where you stopped at initially for the main color, and then you reattach it over here. But don't drag it over, because it will pull. And I went through that too, because I was like, I'm not cutting all these ends. But you don't have to weave them in. So when you're done, to secure them, you just tie them in little knots. It'll secure them, tighten up the stitch, and they stay inside your amigurumi, and no one will ever know. And then you have this beautiful piece in the end. Now, this is a single crochet around. Here is the next problem I'm running into, is when you're single crocheting around, sometimes your stitches move over, right? So, but I want my white to curve, because it's going to have a nose. It's going to curve. These white cheeks, it's going to curve. So I have to move my stitch marker for the center point to make everything work, so nothing is, and so far it's working out pretty good. I mean, this is more of an abrupt look versus this one, but I think it's going to work out in the end. So it's going to be fine. And I'm writing everything down as I go. The next hard part, besides getting the body size right, is getting this head right. Because I don't want it to look funny on my red panda. So as of right now, I'm liking how it's turning out. Okay, everything's working out quite smoothly. Now I just got to work on getting the top of the head to have space for these eyes. The inspirational picture that I have currently, it is pretty darn close to what's going on here, and I'm super pumped. It's just coming together so easily for me, and I'm just shocked, because I thought for sure I would be very frustrated at this point because it wasn't working out in my favor. But it seems to be working out. I don't know. I'm just running with it. And I don't want to stop working on it. The next tricky part, once I get the head done, it should be smooth sailing. The arms, the legs, I already know what I want to do, and it's going to have this big tail. And the ears is going to be easy. The next hard part is going to be the eyes. To get the look that she's wanting is going to take a little bit of magic from my hands. Because she doesn't like safety eyes. I could buy the safety eyes, do what it needs to happen, and it'd be perfect, but she doesn't want the safety eyes. So I'm going to make the eyes, and that is going to be part of the pattern as well too. Super pumped, so excited. I can't stop working on it. The other things are falling to the wayside. Once she picked out the red that she wanted and the orange, I presented her with 3 different shades of red, 3 different shades of orange. She's like, I want this, I want this. Here's what I want it to look like. Brought a picture up on the computer. She said, that's it. She cut it out for me, and I have it in my notebook here. So yes, I will maybe show you guys that at a later time. But yes, it's coming along so smoothly. I just can't believe it. I'm loving this. I'm having so much fun designing this. So I can't wait to have more progress to show you guys. I just want to keep working on it because it's just coming together so smoothly. And I keep saying to my husband, I'm like, I'm waiting for it to mess up somewhere. I'm waiting for something not to work. But that's okay. That's the whole part of designing, right? So that is happening. And I'm loving it. This design journey that I'm currently on is very fun. I'm enjoying it. I want to do more with designing. I just kind of want to go feet first right in and just dive in. But I have a lot of things going on as well too. Yarny projects and stuff like that. I have a lot going on that I need to finish, but we'll see what the future brings. On which path I shall be taking for that. Now, as far as my design scarf, I did get some of it typed up. I'm about halfway done. It does take a while. I'm not even typing up the whole, I'm typing up the pattern, but there's other things in the pattern that I try and put into, like your keys, your materials, and details and stuff like that you find in a pattern. I'm not even putting that in right now. I'm just getting it typed up so I can make it in my mustard color. And I didn't bring it with me. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you'll see the other design I'm working on. There's 180 rows in it. So it does take a little bit of time, and I try and work on it a couple rows when I get a moment of spare time, which is usually very limited during the day and stuff like that. So we shall see. Hopefully I get that. And the plan is to hopefully finish getting that typed up today. I didn't think it would take me as long as it did, but the way I was typing it, I was trying, it's hard to explain. I had these notes. I was trying to type it up in pattern form because my notes, I just wrote it for me to understand. And to try and create like what's the word I'm looking for? A pattern for it, of the way it's written up, if this makes any sense whatsoever. Anyways, I'm just babbling on at this point. Hopefully I'll be able to make up the sample for that, for the pattern, and get that out to my testers very soon. Anyways, what else am I working on? Well, actually, I have a finished object. So, my attack of the amigurumi 2022 is, for April, was the mini bunny. I drew a blank there. The mini bunny. I'm thinking at the same time too, so that's not working. And my intentions for April was to make 3 of the mini bunnies, and I have 2, and I'm going to leave it at that. I'm just going to do 2. May has been announced, so you can check that out on the Facebook. It is Around the Pond. I announced that in my last video. Now, here is the one I finished, and this was made with Karen 1 pound in the peach color. It's an old color I had in my stash. And I did this theme because I wanted to work on embroidery eyes. My quality control, my daughter, says that she loves animals, stuffed animals with soft eyes versus the safety eyes because it's easier to cuddle with when she's sleeping. She does have a lot of stuffed animals with the safety eyes on. I've made her some in the past, but I'm taking into consideration of her input and trying to embroider all the eyes on my amigurumi. So I wanted to work on technique with the mini bunny. I thought that was a good opportunity for that, and this is the first one I made. My second one, in this teal color, it didn't turn out so well. I don't know if it was me or what, but I don't know. I'm not happy with it. I'll just show you guys. Yeah. So I have it winking and the other eye open, so it's winking. My ears are not positioned correctly. my little feet are not positioned correctly. So here's where I messed up. I put the ears on first. Okay. Then I put on the feet. Then I put on the face. I should have put on the face first and then adjusted the ears and the feet to be centered with where the face was. That's what I should have done. That's what I did with this. And look how cute it turned out. By no means is my amigurumi all perfect. No. But this fails my standards. He's still cute though, right? So I learned a lesson. I'm quite proud of the eye. This one looks very large in proportion to this one, okay? But it's a small surface. But once I was done with the face, that's when I realized that my feet are not centered and my ears are not right. So I got so involved, I get so focused on working on my amigurumi eyes. And I wasn't quite paying attention to my placement. And I should have, yeah. I pin everything down. I always, when I put things on, I pin things down and I look at it before I start attaching it. And I did that. But once I put on my face, that's kind of when I went wrong, because it wasn't, I should have put the face on first and then put on the feet and the ears. And then I would have been able to see where my center point is and put my ears where and my feet where they needed to be. That's okay. My daughter thinks he is super cute still, and she's going to give him a home. She's going to take this guy. Actually, she's probably going to take both because she likes them both together. Now, here's another thing I want to talk about. So this is Karen 1 pound yarn, and this is Red Heart yarn. Look at my hair. Look at my size difference. The Karen 1 pound yarn is thicker. So yes, you get a different size. So it's always something to take into consideration when making amigurumi. And you're not using the same yarn the pattern calls for, your measurements are going to turn out differently. So, but they're both cute nonetheless. I still like them. The part was to challenge myself for the embroidery eyes, and I did learn some new things with it, some new techniques that I wanted to do. So I did accomplish my goal for that month. Now, I did not start the April theme, which is Around the Pond, which is, I'm going to do a duck by Grayson Yarn. So, I haven't started it yet. I got the yarn pulled for it. I actually bought the yellow that I needed for it, because I wanted to write yellow. And I haven't started yet because I've been focused on my red panda. So, that's okay. I was going to make two. I was going to make a boy and a girl duck, but I think I'm going to make one to take the pressure off myself a little bit. So what can you win for May? You can win 2 skeins of I Love This Yarn print. It is 100% acrylic, 4 medium, 252 yards in the color Scarlet Rose. And there's one of my stitch markers as well too. So 2 skeins of that. Yeah. That's all I think I have going on. Like I said, I've been really focused on the red panda for my daughter. She has specific details of what she wants for this red panda. And I'm trying to get it down to the T. I'm pretty sure I saw her vision. And I'm just going to try and create it in real life. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. What else? So we got the make-alongs. We got the Attack of the Amigurumi 2022 for April. My goodness. For May. And then we have It's Cake Time make-along on my Facebook. And then we also have a baby along that I'm doing with Christy from Crochet Creations by Christy. It goes to the end of June, where you make 3 items. And don't forget to enter those progress photos because we do random drawings. And yeah, so be on the lookout for that as well too. You can enter that onto her Facebook group and my Facebook group. She will be linked down below for that information as well too. I think we're going to do our next episode at the end of the month. Now, there's projects on there that I don't show on my regular show. I only show on my No Filter Fibercast with Christy. So, I got lots going on. But I've been focused on very little because I'm going by what I feel like working on. And right now, it's the Red Panda is what I want to work on because I'm having so much fun with it. So, yes. I think that's it. Yeah. I feel like there's something else. Like I said earlier, there will be no knit machine shenanigans this week. I didn't work on any gnomes in the past 2 weeks. I ended up, the 2 Saturdays that I usually work on gnomes, I ended up crocheting both nights. So just, that's what I wanted to do. But there will be a yarn stash enhancer this week. Yes, there will be. So be on the lookout for that. So until next time, remember to keep that yarn running through those fingers. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.